I got a lot of respect for Lamar. The things that he's done throughout his career. I can vividly remember when I was in college. I think he was in the NFL. He reached out to me, and like told me that I was balling, and I thought that was like one of the coolest things. I think that was the year he won the MVP. But just the amount of respect that I have for him, who he is as a player, and then um, you know, I'm I've been hearing talks about what people say about him and whatnot, and how he handles himself and how he goes about his business. Very respectable, very commendable, and he's a baller. Like that's just flat out what he is, and that's what he does. He's a game changer with what he can do in the pocket, throwing the ball deep on the run, and then he can make you miss with his legs as well. So I got a lot of respect for him.
Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa talking about Lamar Jackson. There, it's time to head out to the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Shop over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. ToyotaofHollywood.com, Joe.
All right, Woody, and let's bring him in. Omar Kelly, Miami Herald Dolphins columnist. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, coming back home, been out the last 3 weeks, and you just heard Tua talking about all the things Lamar Jackson can do, and it's kind of a weird one, Omar, as I say good morning to you, that both Baltimore got a win last week, so they feel better, and of course now Lamar comes back, and the Dolphins put together their first complete game in a long time. They're feeling better. Let's get into how do you handle the whole Lamar Jackson? He's got Derrick Henry standing beside him back there in the shotgun at 250 pounds. And he's got weapons. He's got two good tight ends. He's got some good wide receivers led by Zay Flowers. What do you do?
You really contain the run. I think everything starts for the Dolphins in terms of you don't get the opportunity to rush the passer. You really don't get the opportunity to create turnovers unless you stop the run. Last week was probably the first time all season that they've done a really effective job stopping the run. I think Cleveland was a step in the right direction, except for the 3 touchdowns and the one big run play. Right. But they're finally playing on a string. They're finally playing like a connected defense. I'm curious to see if that was really just an aberration or if that's what they were building to, even though it takes forever to build to that, considering we're at game number 8. In terms of Lamar, I don't think there's any way to contain Lamar. He's probably the most electric quarterback in the NFL right now. 2-time MVP, I think.
Yep.
He is, to me, Anthony Weaver said something. You got to be sticky in your coverage because Lamar holds the ball longer than any other quarterback, and a lot of that is him just moving backwards or extending the play laterally to create opportunities for his receivers to get open. So to me, I know Lamar and Derrick Henry are dynamic weapons, but to me, the biggest challenge on this game is going to be the cornerbacks because a Zay Flowers and a DeAndre Hopkins, those are no slouches.
Yeah, no, they got a good group. Hey, on the other side of the ball, though, Tua coming off a nice bounce back game with the staff, and I thought the game plan was just fantastic. I know you and I have talked about that already, but this defense. Listen, the Ravens' defensive problems don't go away just because Lamar's coming back.
They
got to score some points. So this is a good opportunity to score some points against this defense.
Oh no, the Dolphins are definitely going to have to put up points. I don't know if there's been a game against the Ravens where you didn't have to score points to really be in the game. To me, it's going to come down to no mistake. Unfortunately, with this Dolphins team, their margin for error is extremely small, especially without Tyreek. You don't have that one player that could break the game on one specific play, and that's no disrespect to Devon Achane or Jalen Waddle, but Tyreek is a freak of nature. Lamar's a freak of nature. Derrick Henry's a freak of nature. All of those players are Hall of Famers. I'm not necessarily certain that Devon Achane and Jalen Waddle will be put in that category, but it's going to come down to effectively playing clean football and clean operation. And they got to that with the help of Frank Smith. I don't know if we're putting enough stock into Frank Smith going down to the field and all of the things that he helped address not just a cleaning up operation and cleaning up substitutions but lifting of the energy.
I agree, man. I'm with you, Omar. I did not know, and I said this yesterday, it wasn't a shot at Frank Smith. I didn't know he had that kind of personality until now I've seen it on the airplane. He greeted all the guys getting on the plane, and his relationship and respect that he gets, I get it. He is the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, no, and here's the thing. Frank said yesterday, because we talked to him, he was like, yeah, Darren said now the team finally gets to know the real you. And this is who he'd been in New Orleans. This is who he'd been throughout his career with the Raiders. He'd always been on the field and handled the substitutions of the team. And as an offensive coordinator, he said, I had to go into the fishbowl, which is upstairs in the booth, and you can't do what you do, which is, energy and communication and orchestration. I mean, the one thing about Tua, and I know everybody thinks he's way too candid. I respect it and appreciate it because it helps give me stories. But Tua drops hints all the time. When he talked after Cleveland about how he had issues managing the orchestration of the offense and, guys not knowing basically where they're supposed to line up and, conducting traffic, before he has to snap the ball, read the defense and snap the ball. Tua was basically saying, help me. Like, y'all need to help me. Like, and that was a cry to the coaches. And so I'm glad to see that they responded and really did what they needed to do to clean up their play and clean up their execution. And, Mike talked about it. It's like getting to the huddle faster and getting out the huddle faster. That's going to help us execute better. And it's the speed and the pace. And that's what we saw against the Falcons. I'm not saying that Tua's going to throw 4 touchdowns on Thursday night or another time this season. But the one thing we know about Tua is he pretty much plays a clean game outside of when he starts committing turnovers in bunches. We'll get 3 clean games and then a turnover in bunches game. That's pretty much how he plays. Now, the question is, can we clean up the operation even more and just get back to consistent, efficient Tua?
Well, I got to tell you, to your point, though, it was a great game plan. Guys did seem to be more organized. I totally agree. And I'm with you on the Frank Smith thing. It just makes me shake my head and scratch my head and go, why didn't we get to this a little bit earlier? But anyway, hey, I wanted to ask you.
It's problem solving, Joe. You get a problem and you figure out how to solve it.
Couple months later. I got you. No, hey, so
hey, listen, I used to be a couple seasons later with Joe Philbin, so a couple months doesn't
all right.
Couple months doesn't bother me.
Okay. Hey, we had a breakthrough. I thought the rookie class had a little bit of a breakthrough.
Yeah.
We knew it was coming a little bit. For everybody out there might have mentioned we might have to start benching guys. I was like, no, you got to let them the growing pains as long as they don't lose their confidence. And I think we had it for a lot of guys. What'd you think?
You know what? You were preaching to me on that one, because some of those rookies, man, they looked like they were swimming and they were thrown into a 10-foot pool and they were drowning. I wanted to send them a lifeline, but Jonah finally played. It wasn't a clean game, but it was a respectable game. And no offensive lineman is going to have a clean game. Very rarely ever, even though Patrick Paul's had a couple clean games. But Jonah's turning the corner, and I say this all the time, and people think it's an excuse, but I'm sorry. A quarterback that doesn't feel comfortable in the pocket is going to rush his throw, and he's going to be antsy, and he's going to be uncomfortable. Tua's offensive line, pass protection-wise, has been bad this season. Nobody can argue that. There are times we see the ball is snapped and the defender's right in his face about to destroy him. So what do you want him to do? Half the time you want him to scramble around and juke a guy and play Dan Marino, step up in the pocket. These aren't even step up in the pocket situations. These are just oh my God, the interior of my pocket is compromised. My face is not clean. I can't see anything. I'm scrambling for my life. Well, they finally kept him. I think they've had 2 games where they've really, I think they're 2 wins too. They've really kept him clean. And that's the growth and development of Jonah. Larry Borum's also gotten better over the course of the season. And, I guess Cole Strain is doing fine, but it's just a step in the right direction. But I also point out that the play action game, keeping that alive, that's Tua's strength. Tua needs you to not know what he's going to do. If you know he's in a pass situation, okay, what's most defenses going to do? They're going to cloud the middle of the field and step into his passing lanes, and hope he turns the ball over. Okay, well that's not really hard to do. But then when you have the threat of the run and all these misdirection things that the Dolphins are doing, and Tua can throw his accurate passes and catch guys in stride, and that's what this offense is.
The other guy that's getting better and better is Ollie Gordon. I got to tell you, man, he's a bruiser. He's taking care of one of the biggest problems we had a year ago. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, down on the goal line. This guy seems like he gets it every time. And it's coming. And then on top of that, has a catch on one of those plays you're just talking about. Great play action coming the other way and scoring a 20-yard touchdown. He just looks like, and nothing against Jalen Wright, that's going to be hard for him to get that second spot.
Yeah, no. I think that's not even a competition.
But I don't want to get
anymore.
rid of Jalen Wright now. I think Jalen Wright is, I didn't want to get rid of him. No, I said it. I said it. You're not saying it.
He's a little sour though, Joe. He's a little sour right now. And it's fine. You'll figure it out. You'll work it out. This is what happens in the NFL. Guys step up when opportunities presented themselves, and Ollie stepped up. And Ollie addressed a major issue that this team has had. But more than that, I think he's balancing out their rushing attack, because he could do outside zone, he could do power runs,
yes,
and man scheme, and that allows you to diversify it. So every team isn't thinking, oh, they're just going outside, and that's really what the Dolphins' offense has been for. They play laterally, and. The screens lateral, the motions lateral, the outside runs lateral. Well, Ollie's just straight at you, and that he has stepped up so much. Dante Trader stepped up. Kenneth Grant has stepped up.
Yeah, Dante Trader had some nice plays the other day, filling in.
Yeah, I think he's been the one guy from a rookie standpoint, other than Jonah, who's had a starting spot every game, except for the one
game.
Get
to play. Yeah,
he didn't get to play, but that's a shoulder injury. It wasn't a demotion. It was a shoulder injury, and I think he was forced into action last week because of all the injuries they had in the secondary, and they're still going through those injuries now. Every single safety's hurt.
So anyway, before I let you go here, I just want to ask you, how do you like this matchup overall, especially? The other part of this is that trade deadline on Tuesday, because everybody can't help it, especially nationally. And I know we got 4 or 5 guys that are hearing their name a lot. Has it affected those guys?
They've heard it. They know it. I'm sure the Dolphins have sat down with some and had some conversations. And like, hey, we're not, I think Jalen Watt, I think they've had a conversation like, dude, we're not trying to trade you. I think
you can't stop people from asking for you too.
No,
and,
absolutely.
And I tell everybody, Chris is talking to everybody, but that's his job. Don't read into it so much. Like, his job is to hear what's out there. That's part of his job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think we probably will see a trade. I think, even though there's a Calais Campbell's on the move out there again on trade block for a contender. You know the situation with Calais. Everybody wants to help him get a ring. And, I don't know if some team's going to step up and offer whatever it takes. I would go for Calais Campbell before I go for a Jalen Phillips or a Bradley Chubb. That's just me personally. But I think if some team wants to offer up a 4th-round pick for Jalen Phillips or Bradley Chubb, I think that deal gets done. When you look at just, okay, you're going to get a compensatory pick for Jalen Phillips if you let him go in free agency. And even if you do let him go in free agency, even if you do trade him, you'll still have an opportunity to re-sign him back in free agency. So why would you not take the 4th-round pick? Obviously, he doesn't want to move. He doesn't want to, this is home for him. But the reality is, like, bro, you're, and this is what I love this point in a player's career when they realize this is not a sport, this is not a team, this is a business. And
well,
when they
team. It is a team, but it is
no,
business.
it's not.
It is business.
No, it's not. It's not team. It's business. Business over everything, Joe. That's the problem with the NFL. Business over everything. Like they don't care. They don't care how great. They cut Dan Marino. They fired Don Shula. Business, Joe.
Dan Marino was the ultimate team guy every day he played, and he wanted to make sure you were too. There was no talk of money.
Did he get cut? Did he get thrown?
I don't know.
Out?
After 20 years, yeah, it's a cold business. It's absolutely cold. I agree. At some point, it's cold to everybody, including GMs and head coaches. It's cold.
You're right.
It's cold to everybody. Hell, it's going to be cold to us.
Yep, you're right. It is a cold business, but I and that's the reality of what's going to happen on Tuesday. You offer the right price, and you get what you want. I don't think anybody's going to offer that. Bradley's going to be released or restructured in the offseason. I think he's having a solid season. Jalen Phillips is just a situation. Jalen's having a good year without the sack productivity.
Yeah, he's had some good pressures. He has. You're right.
The pressures are high. If he was delivered on his sacks, he'd be $100 million player. Yeah. And the question is, and the funny thing is, this has been who he is throughout his career. He's always missed on a dozen sacks. And I don't know what helps guys finish, but he's got to learn how to finish.
He'd like to have one back, I know. He'd like to have one sack at the end of a game back they had right there. He beat his man, did everything. Just like to bring that 6'6", 240-pound dude down. Hey, Omar, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you. Omar Kelly from the Miami Herald joining us, talking a little bit about the Miami Dolphins, Thursday Night Football, Lamar and Tua going at it.